まだ誰も知らないフィクションを込めてく名もない物語を開け
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls Who Remind You of Your Dead Sister? The answer is yes. Very much so. So I've linked part 1 above and in the description, so if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend it for the full story experience. As awful as that may be, I'm very sorry. Actually, not really, because it's kind of funny, but the secondhand cringe that you get from it is pretty bad. So, quick recap. As much as the title says everything, let me just give you a quick rundown on everything that Fish, as we met him last episode, has done. Like I said, I met this guy my first year of college, and we became friends, and he told me I reminded him of his dead sister, and then proceeded to do things that you would not do to your sister to me, such as putting your hand in my back pocket, telling me you want to go visit your dead sister and faking a trip to the psych ward, kissing me on top of the head and making a comment about me being like a child, and as my coworker said, calling me a 10, but telling me I look 10. And the cherry on top, confessing your feelings to said person who reminds you of your dead sister. At the very least, the person he told me I reminded him of was an older sister, not a younger sister. So, let's look on the bright side, right? Anyway, you guys are probably in shock about how I'm still friends with this guy. And I'm honestly not sure that I would define it as friends. But close enough, right? Yeah, close enough. So, to start this off, I want to say that I had, in the past 2 or so years, been in a pretty bad situation, and someone close to me had made up some lies about me and spread them to our friend group, and then manipulated our friends to believe him. And throughout our friendship, I had mentioned this to Fish. And while he didn't know the specifics of the situation, and I'm not going to go into it, he did know about it. I've also mentioned that I like someone else, we'll call him Orange. And after finding out who it was, Fish proceeded to tell me that there were a lot of bad rumors surrounding him, and that it was a bad decision for me to date him. I don't quite remember whether or not this was before he confessed to me or after, but it fits in the theme of the rumors, so I thought I'd at least mention it. A side note, Orange and I have been dating for 4 years now, so I'd say it's been going pretty well. Mr. I met Senzawa on iFunny, and she sent me cosplay videos, also known as Fish, and no, I'm not going to go into that more, told me that he didn't normally believe rumors, but these were from a credible source, and while Fish obviously would never admit this, his source... His source was...
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
And that the person I liked definitely wasn't a good person. He didn't say it, but not as good as him, at least, right? I was pretty upset at him for this, and I did tell him off about it because who does that? Under the guise of being my friend, you make up rumors about the person I like just to get me to not like them because you're upset that I like someone that's not you. Fish even said he met Orange in the dining hall and that Orange had said something to him about his view on relationships. But when I later showed Fish a picture of Orange, he told me he had never seen him before in his life. For one, why would Orange just randomly approach Fish, who he doesn't even know, in the dining hall and tell him his personal views on relationships? And for two, if you're gonna say that, and then later I show you a picture and you say you've never seen him before, come on. I guess he forgot about that one. Over the summer, Fish really started to lose it. He started messaging me all kinds of things about wanting to go meet his sister and how it's not worth it because no one loves him and that it's hard to survive. Keep in mind, this is after his whole, trip to the psych ward thing. He even compares himself to the Joker at one point and discusses how, despite being positive and happy on the outside, he's depressed and psychotic on the inside.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I'm just here because honestly, I don't know how to get out of this friendship. I'm still good friends with the rest of our group. I felt like that kind of made it really difficult, especially because he had mentioned some of this stuff to the group, but for the most part, he's only telling me about this stuff. And because I'm still friends with the rest of the group, a lot of our time over the summer is spent hanging out in Discord and playing Valorant together with the rest of the group. So it would be hard for me to detach myself from the situation while also still having that past situation in mind and being unsure of what to do. There was a time when one of the other guys, we'll call him Coin, said that he didn't see Fish as a close friend while we were playing Valorant. And Fish lost it in my direct messages. He was so upset that he left the voice chat, went straight to my direct messages to vent about how Coin owed him a lot of money and that he didn't understand how Coin didn't see them as close friends. I was still in voice chat with Coin, and when I mentioned the money, he laughed and responded, "I just Venmo'd him like $40 for dinner, so I don't owe him anything." And I was shocked. Fish made it out to seem like Coin owed him at least several $100s. That maybe Fish had covered his rent or something of the sort. Not that it was $40 for dinner. And remember, Fish has a lot of money, so $40 should be nothing to him. Right? Right. And so I tried to explain to Fish that not everyone sees friendships the same way, and that it's really not that big of a deal if you see someone as a close friend, but they don't see you the same way. It's just a difference in perspective and labeling, and not in feelings necessarily. He seemed to calm down some, but was still pretty upset. But I did the best I could. There's not a lot at this point that I can really do, if I'm being honest. So we're all home for the summer, and well, we'd love to be doing stuff, and granted, I was working. Because of COVID, we decided to take some summer core classes because what else were we going to do while we were home? Just to get them out of the way. And quite a few of us signed up for the same class, so we were in Discord a lot together during class, working on assignments together, things like that. And Fish is still in a rough mental place, and I am as well for other reasons. The relationship that previously ended in the last video caused me a lot of stress over the summer, and I ended up breaking down in tears in front of Fish and several other friends over voice chat. It was really, really awkward and embarrassing, if I'm being honest. I'm not really gonna go into the situation either, but essentially my ex-partner was stalking me online and trying to blackmail me with photos I didn't know he had taken. So I definitely, I was dealing with some stuff, we're actually, surprisingly, you guys are gonna be like, what the is wrong with you? We're on good terms now. We haven't spoken in a long time, but we are on amicable terms. Orange was helping me deal with that behind the scenes, and guess what, guys? Oh my god. Fish found himself a new girlfriend.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
We'll call her Moon. He said that he had reconnected with her and they had been acquaintances in high school, but nothing came of it or something along those lines, and that he thought she was pretty cute and, he decided to start a relationship with her, which was definitely not the smartest move on his part due to his mental health, but I couldn't really do anything about it since it was his decision. What do I know, right? I know nothing, clearly. he would often spend nights over at her place and mentioned bringing his PS5 or console over so that he could play while she was sleeping, and he would chat with me. Which is weird, because who goes over to their girlfriend's house and while she's sleeping calls another girl? Granted, I remind him of his dead sister, right? So I'm not a threat.
I'm in danger.
Grave robber. He only ever sent me 2 photos of her, and he refused to share her Instagram with me because he claimed that she was a backup dancer / singer for some pretty famous artists, and he mentioned like Justin Bieber and whatnot. And I was like, huh? Even though he trusted me, he was worried that her information would get leaked. Sir, you gave me her name, not 1, but 2 photos of her, and her occupation. If I wanted to plaster her face online, I would have already done so. Summer is coming to a close, and I was allowed to move into school housing during COVID because of my limited internet access at home. And as I'm moving in, Fish is messaging me about how he can't wait for us to meet Moon, how she's going to come up to college and visit us, and he's really happy and excited for us to finally get to know her. But then, disaster strikes. Yeah, if you could call it that. Fish and Moon go to the drive-in for a date, and I get a message that night from Fish that she's in the hospital and that her heart condition is acting up. She's a backup dancer and singer, but she has a heart condition. Makes sense, right? And he was super stressed about her condition and that even though things were looking okay, it was quite possible that she would be hanging out with his sister soon. Well, I guess her plans to hang out succeeded, and he was frantically texting me about how this was all his fault and he should have known better. And I'm over here trying to move into my dorm, and I am so confused. How on earth did this girl meet his sister? And why does he think it's his fault in the first place? He claimed that at their date, they had decided that the movie was too boring and had enough space to do some stuff in the back of his car. Later that evening, she had to go to the hospital. And she didn't make it. Yep. Yeah. He claimed he was too good at the stuff that they were doing and caused her heart rate to skyrocket, which later ended her life.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
He said that he should have known better, that her heart was fragile, and he should have been more careful and refused her advances. Let me pause here to recollect my thoughts for that bomb I just had to drop. There's no way to creatively censor that. I don't know how to say it any other way. I'm sorry for laughing so much. Because someone just went to hang out with his sister, but girl. I'm kind of stuck here because he hasn't told anyone else about how or why she went to visit his sister, only that they were hanging out. I mean, granted, how is he supposed to say that? He did tell everybody that he felt like it was his fault, though, so this man is essentially admitting to murder his girlfriend, nonetheless, whether it be by accident or not. I would have known if he had, mostly because he definitely shared a lot more of the situation with me. But yeah, I think I'll leave part 2 at that, just because I need to let the dust settle. So I'll give you some time to unpack that before we keep going. Yeah, there's more. No, it does not stop there. I'm sure you wish it did as much as I did. See you in part 3.